May this prayer steady your spirit as you reflect on the sacred weight of a life lived with God. Abraham breathed his last after a lifetime of walking with God. And you stand here today, feeling the quiet pull of seasons that are shifting in your own life. The scriptures say he died old and full of years, and your heart longs to reach the end of your journey, with the same sense of completion. Isaac and Ishmael came together to bury him in the Cave of Machpelah, and your own memories gather around you like companions when you reflect on what has shaped you. Nothing about Abraham's final moments felt rushed, and nothing about your desire for meaning feels misplaced. The moment feels sacred. The sun dipped low over the hills of Hebron as his story reached its final chapter, and the fading light in your own seasons reminds you that time moves with quiet certainty. Generations would speak his name with reverence. And your spirit longs to leave something behind that carries weight beyond your lifetime. The land he walked became the land of promise, and the places you have walked hold stories that only God fully understands. His faith became a foundation for nations, and your faith is shaping more than you realize. Legacy matters. Abraham's final breath carried the peace of a man who trusted God until the end. And your heart longs for that same peace in the places where uncertainty still lingers. His journey was marked by altars and promises, and your journey is marked by moments where God met you in ways you cannot forget. His life testified that obedience is never wasted, and your life carries the same invitation to trust even when the path feels unclear. His story ended in the presence of God's faithfulness, and your story is held by that same faithfulness today. God remains. Movement 1. Modern internal lament. Some seasons arrive with a quiet heaviness, and the weight of transition settles before you have time to prepare. Other moments reveal how quickly life can change, and the realization leaves you standing still with a mixture of awe and sorrow. Certain memories rise with unexpected clarity, and the contrast between past and present stirs emotions you struggle to name. Quiet hours remind you of how fragile time can be, and the silence around you becomes a mirror for your thoughts. The heart reflects. Different responsibilities shift as seasons change, and the uncertainty of what comes next presses against your chest. Unexpected endings appear without warning, and the ache of letting go settles into your spirit. Familiar routines lose their rhythm, and the absence of what once was becomes impossible to ignore. Gentle attempts to steady yourself feel insufficient, and the weight of transition grows heavier. The ache deepens. Various relationships evolve with time, and the distance between what was and what is becomes more noticeable. Certain dreams fade as new realities emerge, and the tension between acceptance and longing grows sharper. Moments of clarity reveal how much you have changed, and the realization brings both gratitude and grief. Attempts to hold everything together feel exhausting, and the desire for peace becomes stronger. The longing remains. Movement 2. The spiritual turning. Yet even here, God draws near with the same presence that carried Abraham through every chapter, and his faithfulness steadies the places where your heart feels uncertain. Nothing about your transitions surprises him, and nothing about your fears pushes him away. Every moment of reflection is seen, and every breath you take is held by his mercy. Each shift in your journey is guided by his wisdom, and each longing for clarity is met with his compassion. God is near. Grace moves toward you with quiet strength, and grace reminds you that endings are not failures. Hope rises in the spaces where sorrow once settled, and hope whispers that God is still writing your story. Love surrounds the memories that shaped you, and love softens the edges of your grief. Peace settles over the questions that linger, and peace reminds you that God finishes what he begins. Mercy remains. Strength grows in the places where you feel fragile, and strength carries you when your resolve begins to fade. Healing begins in the corners of your heart that fear the unknown, and healing moves gently through the memories that shaped your journey. Comfort reaches into the depth of your reflection, and comfort restores what anxiety tried to steal. Assurance settles into your spirit with quiet authority, and assurance reminds you that God walks with you through every season. He is faithful. Light breaks through the shadows that cloud your thoughts, and light reveals the path that once felt hidden. Purpose rises from the transitions that overwhelmed you, and purpose reminds you that nothing is wasted in God's hands. Renewal touches the parts of you that felt weary, and renewal brings life where heaviness once lived. Restoration begins to unfold in ways you did not expect, and restoration proves that God has been with you all along. You are not alone. Movement 3. The Restoration. Now let your heart rest in the truth that Abraham finished his journey with peace, and let that same truth settle into your spirit with quiet strength. Now breathe deeply as the God who guided him guides you, and let his presence steady the places that feel uncertain. Now allow his voice to speak into the transitions that trouble you, and let his words remind you that he holds every chapter. Now trust that the God who honored Abraham's life will honor your journey, and let your soul lean into his faithfulness. Peace returns. Fresh courage rises as you release the fear of endings, and fresh strength grows as you embrace the new beginnings God is shaping. Gentle assurance fills the spaces where doubt once lived, and gentle mercy covers the wounds that time could not heal. Quiet confidence begins to replace the trembling inside you, and quiet hope returns as you recognize God's hand in your story. Deep trust moves through the places that once resisted change, and deep rest settles into the core of who you are. God restores. New clarity forms where confusion once stood, and new purpose rises where uncertainty once settled. Soft gratitude returns to the places that forgot how to breathe, and soft joy grows as you see God's faithfulness unfold. Clear direction emerges from the fog of transition, and clear peace guides you toward what comes next. Steady love surrounds you with a warmth that cannot be shaken, and steady grace carries you into a future shaped by God's presence. God remains. May the God who welcomed Abraham home fill your heart with peace as you walk into the next chapter of your journey.